shot saved by Stover. Centering pass to score. They take a 1-0 lead.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Swoop, BG Falcon Media's live sports talk show. That's right, we are live today for our last show of the fall semester, and I'm Kevin Hutchinson, super excited to be joining you guys today, and I am here with two very knowledgeable analysts, Holden Ruck and Sienna Nero. How are you guys doing today?
Great to be here, excited to be live, happy for our last show of the semester.
Always excited to be here, happy that it's live. It's really exciting.
Yeah, great to have you guys on. So first up, without further ado, let's take a look at BGSU football. So the Falcon football team took care of business on Tuesday, November 25th, capping off a troubled season with a big win over UMass. The Falcon offense racked up 406 total yards, and they were led by running back Austin Dendy. You can see his touchdown that he scored right there. Another touchdown here for Dendy, just plowing through the defense, finding a way to score. He had 3 total touchdowns on the day. You see here his final touchdown off to the races, nothing they could do about it. So BG snapped a 5-game losing streak and finished their season 4-8. The game also marked quarterback Hunter Nazem's first win as a collegiate starter. Big victory over the UMass Minutemen. So if we look at some stats from the game, 278 rushing yards from BG. That was kind of the story of the game. 128 passing yards and 19 first downs. This was by far the best offensive performance that Falcon fans have seen from the football team so far this season. So Holden and Sienna, what do you guys think will be the expectations for head coach Eddie George and the football program going into next season?
Well, Kevin, I think the win against UMass was just what this team needed to go into the offseason with momentum. We know the kind of recruiter Eddie George is. This is a guy who's at the game in Ann Arbor between Ohio State and Michigan wearing that BG beanie. He could have been decked out in Buckeye gear, but he was there representing the orange and brown. And that's the kind of guy he is, and that's the kind of recruiter he is. Bowling Green already, as it stands on early signing day, boasting the number 2 recruiting class in the MAC, while being one of the worst teams this season in the MAC. That alone tells you the kind of recruiter he is. And you couple that with the rushing performance we saw to end this year. Austin Dendy's not going anywhere, folks. And Cam Petaway, just earlier today, named MAC Freshman of the Year. Clearly, they've got so much strength in that running game. I expect them to ride that running game next season and start picking up a lot more wins. And I really think a bowl and maybe contention are well on the way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think ending the season with a win like that, especially like a blowout like that, will definitely boost their confidence for next season going into the fall. I think you could kind of see their confidence dropping as they were losing more and more, but hopefully this will definitely give them some momentum. I agree, like what you said. I do agree with the recruits. You're going to get transfers. You're going to get new people coming in. They're going to bring energy to the team. But you do have Austin Dendy that you definitely have to rely on and kind of build that offense around, because he had just rushed for over 100 yards for the past 3 games. So he is a great talent to have on the team.
Definitely, and I like that you mentioned recruiting. Early signing day was yesterday, and the Falcons picked up some key recruits. I'm looking at Paulie Sadler, a 3-star wide receiver from Cleveland. I think the wide receiver room is definitely something that they're going to want to build. You know, no wide receiver had a touchdown catch this season, so building that for sure. And I think looking for a new direction at the quarterback position. You know, the Drew Pine experiment, maybe he comes back, but it wasn't really a success. He had 6 starts, 2 and 4 as a starter. So they're probably going to be looking to sort of build out that quarterback room a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you have some youth in that room too. You know, Lucian Anderson didn't play a lot of games this season. That's still a direction they could look at going. Jaron Mock coming in, as you said. And of course, you still got Hunter Nazem, who struggled at times, but for a guy coming in as a freshman and a 4th stringer, you know, where were the expectations for this guy realistically? I think with a full offseason under his belt, time to build the line, the rest of the offense, the wide receivers, which are going to be a depleted room going into next season. I think it's going to be a lot of new faces, but they're going to be able to start to establish this continuity. I always think that it's hard to judge a head coach in the first season of them at a program, but going into the second year, really building his continuity and leaving his mark on this program, I think Eddie George is primed to start pushing to really compete in the MAC.
Absolutely. That chemistry is definitely going to grow as they spend more time together. Of course, it is his first year, but I mean, you got to trust your coach. So I'm excited to see what next fall brings.
For sure, and I think it'll be very interesting. So next up, we're going to take a look at the BG hockey team, which had a very strong showing this weekend. So BGSU hockey swept the Princeton Tigers in a non-conference series. 4 players scored goals in the first game as Connor Levis, Tyler Hodson, Jaden Grant, and Dominic Ryman all shared the wealth. The same thing happened the following night as Hodson, Quinn Emerson, Brett Foe, and Jackson Niedermeyer all scored goals. This collective team effort paid off as the Falcons moved to 7-4-3 on the season and 4-1-1 at home. So with the team almost halfway through the season, let's take a look at some CCHA standings. So as you can see, Minnesota State is number 1 in the CCHA with 24 playoff points. Bemidji State is second with 23, but Bowling Green is threatening with 19 playoff points, firmly in third place. And so in light of, where BG's at with the standings, what do you guys think they need to do to sort of keep stacking up wins and keep maintaining their momentum for the rest of the year?
So again, like letting up the 4 to 5 goals definitely has to stop. Defense definitely has to get better. But I mean, they're going out there and they're playing strong. They were tied with less than 3 minutes left, and Quinn Emerson ended up scoring that late goal, which you can just tell the chemistry is definitely getting to where it needs to be. But I just would say the thing that they definitely need to stay consistent on is the defense. Don't let people score at least like 4 to 5 goals. You gotta keep up with that for sure.
And this is a team, mind you, that on the defensive end has been dealing with the absence of Gustav Sternberg, one of their best defenders, for a time this season. But I think a real positive, in spite of that maybe lack of defensive performance that you would like to see, is the offense fires on all cylinder. Between that series at Princeton, we saw 7 different players score a goal. Hodson, the only repeat one from both nights. But looking at that offensive output, they're clearly poised to compete offensively with any team in the CCHA, and they've shown not only that, but going to Mankato take on Minnesota State, a CCHA really top dog for the last couple of years. They took points on that weekend. This is a team that can compete with anybody in the conference, and Willie's always coached them to play a really physical, aggressive, get after it style of hockey. And so I think that the defensive woes are something that's going to be cleaned up as the season goes. It just takes more time, and fortunately they have half of their schedule to kind of, clean those things up still, especially against a weak opponent like Northern Michigan coming up this next weekend.
For sure. And I think, too, something that's really promising with this team, you look at the chemistry. I mean, this is a team where a lot of guys kind of know their role. You have Breck McKinley, 11 assists. Like, people are contributing up and down the roster, finding ways to put their teammates in a position to succeed. And I think that's the kind of chemistry and sort of the kind of team hockey that Coach Dennis Williams has been trying to build. I think he has a very high hockey IQ, and you're seeing that in how this team plays. Not just physical hockey, but also intelligent hockey and strategic hockey. And that's just going to pay dividends, moving forward.
Yeah, and those things are really helpful too when you've got a goaltender playing as well as Jacob Steinman is right now. He leads the team in goaltender wins, and he has a .907 saving ratio. That's pretty good. When you've got a goalie playing that well and the offense firing as well as they are, you clean up a few things, and you're looking at a Mason Cup contender right there.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how good BG is in their conference as well. They're sitting at 5-2-3, and power play has been great as well. I mean, they're really ending these games, which was a struggle beginning in the season. So
for sure, and you love to see teams work on that as the year goes on. So next up, it's time to head to the hardwood for men's basketball. The Falcon men's basketball team had a historic weekend, securing their first win against a Power 4 school since 2005. BG led Kansas State from the first possession to the final buzzer, winning 82-66. Sam Towns took over with 27 points and 8 rebounds, and even though it was a non-conference game, the win is a huge achievement for the Falcon program. The game was also on the road, making it even more impressive. And BG basketball now moves to a 6-2 record, which is their best start to a season since the 2020 to 2021 season. So as you can see here, some of the big contributors against Kansas State, you have Sam Towns, as I mentioned, 27 points, 8 rebounds. Javon Ruffin making his presence known with 17 points. And Javante Campbell, as always, 17 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. He's just sort of the engine for this BG offense. So in light of this win, what do you guys think this win means for the men's basketball program moving forward?
Kevin, these guys are scrappy. They can go into anybody's house and compete with anyone, and that's exactly what we saw in this game. I really want to highlight Sam Towns, 27 points, 8 rebounds, sniffing the double-double there, and more importantly, just that offensive output. That's something that I think they have wanted to see from the big man for a long time, and having him emerge as that kind of scoring threat is going to be so huge for this team. Last year, due to injuries, among other things, and some inconsistent play across the hardwood, we really saw a one-man show. Javante Campbell on both ends of the court with broken hands trying to really elevate this team, and we saw that could only really get them to the first round of the MAC tournament there. But when you've got other guys contributing and filling these roles consistently, Todd Simon, credit to him, he found his guys in the transfer portal and in recruiting, and he knows who they are. And when they've got everybody putting in work, and it's not just Campbell having to carry the load, this team is dangerous, and they showed that with their first Power 4 win in 20 years.
Absolutely. I think this win really proves that nobody's going to come and play the Falcons to get an easy win. Everybody can see now, like they really are putting everything that they have on the court, and they have really what it takes to get it far. But I mean, yeah, when you have Javante Campbell and Javon Ruffin tying for 17 points, this is a team that really cannot be stopped. They're now averaging 85.6 points per game, which is a huge jump from last season when they were only averaging 73.5. So you definitely can see that whatever they are doing is absolutely working, and they got to continue it.
Absolutely. And I think, too, the ability to start hot, against Kansas State, BG was hitting 56% from 3 in the first half. That really helped them to build that lead going into halftime. I think it might be more exciting when you're a second half team and you're able to come back and keep it close. But when you're able to start hot and get out to a lead early, that just makes your life so much easier, especially when you get into MAC play against opponents like Akron, tough teams. That's really going to help for the rest of the season.
And you're right, those top programs in the MAC, the Akrons, the Kents of the world, they're not going to let you just put up whatever shot you want and succeed. Efficiency was a big struggle with Bowling Green last year, in particular, maybe some players that Kansas State's familiar with. But all that to say, when they're able to shoot more efficiently, they're going to keep themselves in games. They're not going to be playing from behind, and they're not going to be just jacking up bad three-point attempts. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that efficiency is so critical for this team. The three-point output in particular really impressed me, and I think they're really on a strong trajectory to compete for that MAC title and a bid in the NCAA tournament.
I mean, it's so early in the season, and you can see the chemistry within this team is already absolutely amazing. They're a very fun team to watch. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what the rest of the season brings.
For sure, and I'm sure Falcon fans share that sentiment. So now it is time for one of the more fun parts of the Swoop, BG Falcon Media's Athlete of the Week. This week's Athlete of the Week, who else but Sam Towns? He scored 39 points and 26 rebounds across his last 2 games, and he has been a fixture of the men's basketball team this season. He's second on the team in total points. You can see him there just making his presence felt as he has all season long, getting a tough bucket. You need guys to be able to do that, and he has been that guy this season. So if you want to read more about Towns and other great Falcon athletes, you can check out Athlete of the Week on bgfalconmedia.com. But now, of course, we like to put on sort of our predictor hats and predict who is going to be the Athlete of the Week coming up. So this is our Athlete of the Week projections. My projection is Javante Campbell. He leads the team in points with 139 and minutes with 246. He's tied for second in the country in steals per game. And they have some easy competition coming up. They'll be able to feast on some of those smaller non-conference schools, and he should be able to make his presence felt in those games.
Kevin, I really like that pick. Javante Campbell, always a threat to be a phenomenal athlete in any given week. But I'm going to go with Tyler Hodson. I touched on him earlier. Scored in both games against Princeton, the only repeat scorer in that last series. They're facing the Northern Michigan Wildcats, who haven't won a game in conference or at all year, 0-16. And he's averaging nearly a point a game, 15 versus 16. So, I mean, he's been scoring consistently. Really expect him to get on the board.
Yeah, and my pick was Javon Ruffin. I think he's really getting up there with Javante Campbell. I mean, he's really been scoring in these games, and he's been consistent. So I think that he might have the chance. He hasn't won yet, so I think he might have a good chance to get it.
For sure. I think those are all great projections, and that'll be something really interesting to see coming up. But up next, BGSU goalie Jacob Steinman for the hockey team. He isn't just stopping pucks. He's turning heads with masks that tell a story of their own, the meaning behind every detail, and why this particular hockey mask hits close to home for him. Coming up right after this. Every goalie has a story, but Jacob Steinman wears his on the ice. Nick Winholtz takes us behind the scenes of how his helmets are designed and the inspiration that brought it to life. Here it is.
I'm Jacob Steinman from Bowling Green Hockey, and this is my goalie mask. My mask this year, I just did the BG logo up top. One of the best logos in college, so that was a no-brainer. And then kind of something new I did this year, I kind of liked it, was a little stripe going down that says Bowling Green. Also kind of faint, but it's the eagle in front of the Stroh Center, so pretty cool ad there. I got number 1 on the chin for my number. And then this is more personal side of my mask, is the back plate, where I have a logo from a teammate who passed away a few years ago, who I was really close to, and then just RM initials for a family member who passed away, and the quote from my grandfather that I always remember to kind of look at. And yeah, that's pretty much everything to my mask this year.
Yes, just going to the start, you know, a lot of goalies wear numbers in the 30s. Have you always worn number 1, or is that a choice for the season?
No, I mean, I wore 30 in minor hockey. I think I just started wearing number 1. I think it was in COVID. I was playing in Kitchener, a major midget, where we didn't really play anything because it was COVID, but I don't think they had 30, so my options was like number 1, and I forget the other one. So I just picked number 1, and then once I got to junior B, I picked number 1 again, because I was just like started something new, and I just kind of stuck with number 1 ever since. I mean, I have superstitions and routines I stick to throughout the day, but I mean, for gear, I mean, not really. It's just kind of let it dry out, just put it on and get ready to go on the ice.